So I want to ask you guys, have you ever been mentally down, burnt out, or you feel this sense of, no, I'm overwhelmed and things are not going well mentally with me? Has it ever happened to you?
Should I have? if I had 1,000 naira for every time that has happened in my lifetime,
You'd be a billionaire.
oh my goodness.
I was going to say it happens to be every fortnight.
Andersen Chatroom is a place where we'll be having conversations about what we do during 9 to 5, before 9 to 5, and after 9 to 5. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another interesting episode of the Andersen Chatroom. Today, we're going to be discussing something very controversial, yet fun and interesting. We're going to be discussing mental health in the workspace. I have with me on my right, Abisola Agbola, an associate director in our transfer pricing unit in Andersen, Nigeria. And I have here Jesuloba Itayo, a senior associate in Andersen also. And we have a manager in regulatory and dispute resolution, Patience Aliyu. Okay, guys, welcome to Andersen Chatroom.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. So let's get into the conversation. Mental health. It's something that it's become this controversial topic between generations. I know that some generation will say there is nothing like mental health. Some will say they're talking about it too much. And some will also say they're talking about it too little. Okay, guys, let's get into the conversation. I'm going to be asking, what does mental wellness mean to you? Let me start with Patience.
So when we talk about mental wellness, well, to me, that's a question. I would free mental wellness as a state of emotional well-being, not just emotional well-being, physical well-being as well, because I know whatever affects you physically also affects the mind as well. Yeah, the definition also covers spiritual well-being and financial well-being.
Money matters.
Yeah, well-being. Yeah, just a state of, at different areas of your life, more just in a good state. So.
I love that. Just Loba.
All right. For me, I would say emotional well-being is a state of resilience. In a point in your life when you're going through a lot, your ability to bounce back from that. I think it's also a state where you are in an emotional state to be able to form the right and appropriate kind of relationship with people and to maintain that relationship, right? I think that captures what emotional awareness or mental health awareness.
Okay, so I want to ask a question from what you just said. So you feel that if I'm in a good emotional state, then I can have very good relationship. So if you see people with terrible healthy relationships, so if you see people not in healthy relationship, it can be said that they are not totally well mentally.
Yes, I believe.
Do you guys believe that?
Yes.
Yes, I think I know people say that you can't give what you don't have, right? If you want to have healthy relationships and any type of relationship, you need to at least be healthy to a large extent. That doesn't mean that everybody walking around is but it's a work in progress. So yes, what you have, what is inside of you will affect
Other people around you.
and interact.
Thank you. That is really very profound. So I want to ask you guys, have you ever been mentally down, burnt out, or you feel this sense of, no, I'm overwhelmed and things are not going well mentally with me? Has it ever happened to you?
Should I have? if I had 1,000 naira for every time that has happened in my lifetime,
You'd be a billionaire.
oh my goodness.
I was going to say it happens to be every fortnight.
Oh, because
Yeah.
I might be exaggerating, but I do not think there's anyone that hasn't experienced, especially you're adulting. Oh my.
And that thing is expensive
Oh my goodness. It comes
mentally.
with various challenges. And like Patience said, you're looking at your emotional well-being, you're looking at your financial well-being, you're looking at your mental well-being. There are times where one part of their life is going great and another part is not. Right. So yes, I'm sure, I know that I have, and I'm sure that everybody listening to us has experienced.
Guys, have you? Let us know in the comment section.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to ask about the dichotomy between the different generations. Because I know that in the workplace, a lot of people believe that the Gen Zs are the ones that have the most issue with mental health. They're the ones screaming and shouting mental health, and they believe the millennials do not have as much, and the baby boomers are not even there at all. They have never experienced it before. What do you think about that dichotomy? Miss B, you're AD. Tell us about it.
Okay. I don't think it is right to say one generation has not experienced whilst one generation has experienced more. I think what we're seeing is that some generations, because of culture and the way they were raised and what was expected, some generations may not express something as much as other generations may express. So I won't say that boomers did not face it. Trust me, they faced it. Boomers, come on. Boys, you had.
You tried to stood.
Exactly.
Yes.
They did.
Was different that comments. Now, I think what we're seeing now, the reason why it seems like the conversations are a lot more now is people are talking a lot more
About it.
some validly, not some not so validly. But the good thing is that we need to have these conversations. We need to understand that yes, some things are natural. Yes, everybody goes through certain things, and these are the tools that you need to have. So it's understandable that my father in his 60s would not understand when I'm complaining about waking up at 5 a.m. to get to the office all time. It's understandable. They would see it as just do what you need to do, right? But we want a different type of life.
Yeah, right.
See it as, yeah, it is I am.
We want to normalize it, Zika. We want to normalize this conversation, actually, the conversation around mental wellness. It's because we've discovered that in their days, like you're saying, many of these are fathers, are grandfathers. Even though they're feeling this pressure in their mind, they cannot, it's not something of pride to come out and say, to express it. Thank you. That's the word. And because of that, they tend to say, no, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I can't, and those people that are now turned into a level of psychosis at that point, they see them as people to be ostracized. Don't go close to them. Don't do this with them. But it's because the pressure that has gotten to a level, they can't even speak about it or do anything about it. So that now brings me to the next question of what are the things you do daily to help your mental health, daily routine that you do as a career person that can help our listeners and our viewers?
Okay, all right. Maybe I should take.
Yes, please do.
For things I do daily, but I didn't speak when we're talking about burnout. So definitely I have also experienced that. But I'll say I had to find touch points, the reality, I'll cut in that way. So I'm not just lost in I'm working, I'm doing all of this. So one thing I tried to do, it may not apply to everybody the same way. I just want to find my own rhythm. I touch base with family a lot. Yes, I touch base. But before I even get to touching base with family, when I wake up every morning, I just try to have that devotion time. So it's not just about being spiritual. It's just about having that period of time where you just everything is still around. Yeah, that's quiet. So I take advantage of those moments, and try to,
Reset.
yes, you said balance myself before, I set out for the day. Then I have a baby that I always look at every morning.
Boy.
I wait for it to smile. Once I see it smile, I smile back. Then we take it, and then but because I know after that there's a lot of work to be done, but it balances me, in a bit at least for the day. I'm able to keep going, and of course I relate with people as humans, and yes, not just I don't just come to work and see, just numbers work. I can buy. Where's the move up from yesterday? Break.
Because it even puts pressure, a lot of pressure on you.
Just numbers last dates. So that reduces pressure, balances things out a bit. I know there are some other things here and there that we can do. Maybe my other colleagues will share, but it's just important that you always touch base.
Get your own time.
Yes.
Get your own time, then touch base with family and see the beautiful, the handsome face of your son every morning. Thank you, Patience. Just love.
So I don't have a child. Well, as at the time of publishing, They do have a chat, but I think a lot of the things you mentioned also resonates with me. I think for me, I have friends that I speak to. I'm able to talk to them about when things get really hard, both in life and at work. So I'm able to be open with them and be vulnerable with them. And I share what I'm going through, my state of mind, and I find that helps a lot. I find that if I go for extended periods of time without telling somebody how I really feel, it starts to affect.
Tell on you.
Yes. And like she said also, relating with people in a human way, treating people the way I would want to be treated, right? Even when I'm under pressure, right? Even if when I'm trying to explain to other colleagues about the kind of pressure that we're under at work, I try my best to lessen the pressure in a way that it's not toxic, right? Because I know the kind of impact that can have on your mental health, right? And also music. I like listening to music. Sometimes when I'm alone at home, I crank the music to the loudest volume and I start sounding like the person I'm listening to when singing. I feel like that helps, and also finding that quiet space. I would say I try to, as much as possible, get my mind off work for a period of time. I try to fix time at least every weekend where I'm not thinking about work, right? Because to me, I see work as being a very good part of my life, a major part of my life, but not the only thing that makes up my entire life, right? There are other things I'm interested in. And so during that period, I try as much as possible to cut off thinking about work. Once it's time to get back to work, then I'm back into it again.
Thank you, Miss B. I want you to say your part and I want you to emphasize more on the vulnerability part that I mentioned. Like you being vulnerable to people around you. You know, sometimes we see it as a sign of weakness to be vulnerable. So I want you to touch on that.
Okay, so let me just add to things that people can do or things that I do. So you mentioned music. If no one mentioned, I would have mentioned.
I was expecting patients to even mention music.
I am always listening to music. I wake up my phone, and people are different. But for me, what it does is it just helps keep me calm. Do you understand? But one thing I would suggest that people do, and something I've started trying to do, is to look for things outside of work. Everything coming something little. There is no need that passes. And even during the height of our busiest season, fighting deadline, even if it's a 30-minute comedy show, I will watch it just to disconnect my mind, gets me out
on the project
pressure of yes, even if it's 30 minutes, even if I'm eating and watching it at the same time, right? Those kind of activities help you know that life is not all about work. In terms of vulnerability, again, it's understandable that certain people might see vulnerability as weakness based on my kind of person, my personality, the way I grew up in our culture. Yes, I know they'll say women cry a lot, but not me. So I saw it as, why are you talking to people? But then I realized that no man is an island. You're not meant to do life alone. What you need to do, and I can't believe I didn't mention this earlier, you need to have a good support system. Yes. If you do not have people you can talk to, people that they don't need to do exactly what you do, but they need to be reasonable people that can empathize and understand and listen. Sometimes I have people that I have called, as far as they pick up, I go off. I spend the next 20, 30 minutes just, and then when I'm done, I feel better. You can't carry the weight of the world always on your shoulder and you will fail, right? So it's important you have a core set of people. It could be your family, it could be your spouse, it could be your friends. It could just be people that are important to you that you can talk to when the going gets tough, because no man is an island.
Thank you very much. You see, I told you guys, these people are empowered to discuss this matter. So I want to start with you again because I know that you just finished the filing deadline for TP. So how do you distress after such a very, overwhelming time or project? You know, when anytime you go through it like that, how do you distress?
Normal. The first thing I think is, as a team and as leaders, we recognize that it's a very difficult period. I think sometimes the reason why there seems to be a disconnect between leaders and team members about burnouts is because, no offense to some leaders, but leaders don't understand the reality of doing the work or understand what goes into it. We recognize that it's a very difficult period and people would have been burning the candle on both ends, right? So what we do is we mandate people to take a few days. We give people time off. Take time off. You're not supposed to be working unless there's something absolutely. We try to, in fact, schedule engagements in such a way that you have 1 or 2 days to not think about work, because you've been thinking about work non-stop for the past 2 months, right? So I think that's recognition of the fact that it's a very busy period. Makes it easier for us as leaders and as people in the workplace to make decisions that will ensure that our team members go on break. So I think that's some of the things that we do.
Patience, you're also a manager. You manage a lot of people. What do you do, like, when you
The team or for myself?
everybody, yourself, and even the team?
Okay, but for myself, I sleep.
I love that. We have
I
not
was going to
mentioned
say that.
sleep.
I was going to say that.
He has not mentioned
I was actually
sleep.
going to say that.
After I had done it, was very hectic season. I sleep very well.
And it comes well. Like, some people have issues with sleep.
Yeah, it comes well like that. I sleep. Oh, yeah. Okay, but then I'm not really an outgoing person. I'll say take myself out and go. Like, and I love my house. Love my snack. But
Also a very indoor person.
yeah. But for the team, yes, we know that the things can be tight and all of that. But for my team, I try to be very considerate, even outside of the hectic cities. There are times that the team member will call you and say, "Patience, can I work from home today?" And they're supposed to be in the office. Say, okay, it's fine. Because you've been working the other days anyway. So, and the job still gets done. Even when, they come and meet you, and sometimes they don't even have to come and meet you. Sometimes you can say, oh, the son, okay, something is going on, reach out to the person. Say, okay, just take some time off. And so we do that as well. So, well, the answer to the distressing question about how to distress is sleep for me. The other great take question, understanding the team members and you giving them that space, time off when they leave.
Okay, so just love, I'll come to you on this. Do you think mental health is still stigmatized in the corporate environment?
I think it is in certain spaces. Like Abisola mentioned, there's a lot more awareness. People are beginning to pay more attention, but I believe it still is. And that's because, not to go back to the old generation, but the truth about it is that we find still much more older people, at work, right? And they have that mindset. They're not used to that mindset of, I'm struggling, I'm being overwhelmed with work. Funny enough, I believe that they are the original creators of your hustle culture, right? They may not see it as that, but grind is with them, right? So when you're complaining about, I'm going through so much, I need just some time to distress, they don't really understand what you're saying. So I think that is still there, but I think there's more awareness. I just think it's a matter of what space you are in, right?
Mhm.
Whether in that space they recognize that there's a need to have that mental wellness among employees, staff members.
Thank you very much. So this question is for both Bisola and Patience. So at leadership in the firm, what do you think HR and leadership can do to promote more mental wellness in the corporate environment?
I think something like this is very good, right? Yes, it's just a few people discussing, but people in the firm and people outside the firm will watch this and conversations are good, right? If people need to talk about or something, right? But as HR, we can have structures in place to help people even identify triggers for themselves. Like Patience was saying, sometimes you have team members, you can tell that, now I know this person, this is not how this person looks, this is not how this person works, right? Now, people within the team may not be available or they may not be sensitive enough to recognize that. But as people in the human resources team, I think it would be good if they're able to just note those kind of things and reach out to people and have those conversations. Another thing is the people in HR may not be totally equipped to have some deep conversations. But then I know this is something we do here. We have therapy.
Yeah, we
We have therapies that we partner with.
Yeah,
And
that
tell
provide
people,
that service.
take advantage of this opportunity, and it is free.
Yeah, it is. The firm pays. It's not fair. The firm pays, but you don't pay.
The stress is happening, but
So if human resource teams have those kind of programs in place, apart from you identifying people that are struggling and talking to them, if there's a structure, it's to people know that I have a therapist or a third party I can talk to on what's it called? Not independent. Like an independent basis that get back to the first. Give people an opportunity to actually do better in the workplace. Also, everything is not about work now. All work and no play. Everyone is dull boy, right? So there could be events or things, team bonding activities, just to wind and relax, get to know yourselves a lot better. Those are some of the things that I think HR teams can actually put in place. There are more, but
Okay, wait. Actually, it's good. Writing on your last point, let me just know that Andersen does that. Yes, so there is money set aside for everything to unwind. Yeah, they already do that. You take advantage of that. I think Bisola has said a lot. Maybe what I'll just add is at leadership level, we can also talk to ourselves, one-on-one. And because I recall, okay, just like Jesloba was mentioning, and he said, the older generation are the greater of the hustle culture, and they may not know it. So, sometimes when you see somebody else or another leader trying to make certain demands, and maybe you're in a better position to understand that this thing, it doesn't really work like this anymore, you can, reach out. Because I do remember, I would say from COVID, work life has not remained the same
At all.
So whatever you were expecting before COVID, it did not reach face like that now. And I remember having to have that conversation with somebody to say, I think your expectations have to change because life has changed and it is not going back to what it used to be. So, now we'll start looking for ways to work around what we have now to still deliver high value, outputs and all of that. So, when we talk to ourselves, leaders one-on-one, then they're better able to support the firm and the employees generally in terms of mental wellness.
Thank you. Okay.
There's something I wanted to say as I forgot. Can we talk about mentorship and why it is important? Yes, we've said a lot about the difference between generations and expectations. But the truth of the matter is the workplace is going to be difficult because it is work. It's just and work is not easy. It's not.
Yeah, it's not bread and butter.
It's not bread and butter. Right. I think another thing that's team members or everyone, people in the workplace, employees can benefit from is having people that can put them through. Because the truth of the matter is, well, you want to be empathetic and you want to understand. There have been some cases where it seems like, I'm not looking about Andersen, I'm talking generally, where you have these conversations with other people in other firms and other companies. There are cases where it seems like people might be taking advantage of the system or people will lack resilience. That's a common theme when I talk to other people in management. But if you have somebody that can help you, put you through the system, what's it
Navigate it. Yeah.
like navigate? Because stress is normal. See, because it's acceptable.
And what is not?
What we shouldn't have is excessive amount of stress, necessary amounts of stress. If you have a mentor, someone you can talk to, someone that can tell you, okay, in this situation, okay, maybe you're not in the right, but you're in the right, this is how you handle it, this is what to do. I think that's another way that employees can manage things and firms can also manage things.
Okay, so I want to ask you, have you ever considered therapy or mentoring? Why and why not? If you have and if you haven't.
Okay, yeah. So I think therapy is very good. It's just that a lot of people look down on therapy because they see it as a kind of stigma, like a weakness, right? And I think one other thing that people look out for is privacy when it comes to therapy. They don't want people to know that they are, going through therapy and don't want people to even know the contents of that therapy. So what I would say is therapy is very good, but if you're going to go down that route, just make sure that you find a program or you find someone, a professional, obviously work with a professional that can keep your matters private, right? Because you don't want that coming out. And like we mentioned earlier, in Andersen, we have a body that we're partnered with that provides that service to our employees.
Yeah.
So yes, but I think therapy is amazing. It works.
Thank you very much. Do you want to say something about that?
Yes, have I considered, that's the question. I considered it yesterday, sir. I considered it yesterday to discuss my FOMO, fear of missing out on work. I don't understand it once. Yes, I haven't gone, But yes, I have considered it in terms of therapy. But yes, mentoring or having support systems, unofficial sounding boards, yes, so like all them. Oh yes. Yes, I have that. It's very important. Sometimes you can overthink something in your head. It's good to just bounce it with someone else. And sometimes when you say something out loud, when you tend to hear yourself, yeah, exactly. When you hear yourself say it, it uses the old or if it's ridiculous. When you hear it, you realize, okay, maybe I'm being meticulous. So yes, in terms of coaching or having mentoring actually, or having a sounding board, definitely. But therapy, who knows, maybe the future, but I consider the escape.
Okay, so lastly, I'm going to ask the three of you this question. What advice will you give to a colleague or someone watching us right now that is silently going through a hard time at work and is thinking about what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling this overwhelmed and all that? What advice would you give to that person?
I said, Pastor Bell, you are not alone. Every single person, if we're all being honest, has gone through this. In fact, several times. I remember when I was in my 20s, I remember I had a quarter life crisis. It seems odd, right? But it was a very big deal at that particular point in time. What I would say is you're not alone. Number two, talk to people.
Yeah.
Make use of the tools you have around you. Like I mentioned, I think I talked about having a support system.
Yes.
Please build a support system around you. People that you can talk to, people you can bounce ideas around this. And if you need professional help, please see a therapist. There should be no stigma around it. And even if there is, people would only talk about you for 1 or 2 days. They will move on. Beyond looking for a solution, please ignore what people will say. A lot of people have lost a lot of things. They've lived in sadness or regrets because of what will people say. So please just know that there are tools around you that you can use to help you get better. Please take advantage of all of these tools.
Thank you, Miss B.
All right. I'd also say find an activity that you can do that gets your mind off work. It's a very something that something constructive and not even necessarily something productive, right? So we always think, oh, it has to be a skill. You can find something that in course is about wasting time, but something that just gets your mind off work. And as long as you're not harming yourself,
Yeah.
just find an activity you can do, preferably with other people, right? Because that also helps you, build that part we talked about emotional wellness, connecting with people, where you can also connect with people. So just find that activity, and I think that's also a good place to start.
Well, thank you very much, guys. This has been a very, very interesting episode of the Andersen Chatroom, and we're glad you joined us. I hope you've been able to pick one or few things for all that they've dished out to you. So please live well and ensure that your mental wellness is not tampered with at any point in time. Please do not allow this world or any other person do that to you. We love you. Bye for now.
Bye.